All right. Well, what we're doing tonight is about 10-minute reading of Dr. Rudolf Steiner. I think I'm on my right account. Should be, yeah. I was going to read a little bit of Philosophy of Freedom, but it's a little bit complicated and I don't have time to break it down, and I'd rather do it more as a staged lesson style versus just giving you a quick excerpt. Aloha, aloha. How's everybody doing? Oh, wow, awesome. Welcome to the Cymbiotika family. Stoked to have you. Yes. It's not even a Christmas tree anymore. It's a spring tree, now turning into a summer tree. Thanks for the haircut. Yeah, I got the hair all lined up. Yeah. Sure. I'm receiving your hug right now. Okay. This is very important for me to express this. I'm just going to break it down a little bit, not a lot. This is not anything formal. It's just one of those things that just came. Hey, Andrew, I love you, bro. I'll be in Laguna tomorrow. Hit me up. Okay. Can you guys see me clear? How's the audio? How's the audio? Audio good? I'm trying to get them to just say Grand Rising. Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. All right. Really digest this. Okay, here we go. Hold on. I gotta get a hit. I swear this is not product placement. Whew, that's good. Okay, here we go. Let me lower my body a little bit. A little stretcheroo. If you see the TV right here, I have, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I watch programs. I'm watching The Last Dance. It's the Chicago Bulls documentary. It's pretty freaking good. Okay, who's ready? You guys ready? Video quality dropped off. Trippy. I moved this close to the phone. Let me see. Has it gotten better? There? Okay, it doesn't matter. You don't need to see me. You need to hear me and you need to feel me. Here we go. I know this pretty much by heart, and I have variations of it, so you're going to hear my version come out. You're going to hear me talk, and I'm going to break it up a little bit, but I really want you to tune into this. Don't look at me. Just close your eyes, meditate, and feel into the truth. All right? All right, here we go. Here we glow, okay? One last time, all right, sound check. I'm moving my hips, moving my body. Dude, hold on, I can't even start right now. I trained so hard today, I can't even move. All right. Human beings are dwellers in two worlds. Our uniqueness amongst the creatures of the earth lies in this role that we have as half beast and half angel. half beast and half angel. And I'll clarify what that means. We experience this on a daily basis. A dynamic tension exists because of the contrary demands which lives inside of us, and which each living within us in a realm. And as we experience this energy on a daily basis, an internal tug of war, pulling first in one direction, then to the opposite direction. Whenever we are called upon to make a choice, a decision, the earthly and the heavenly draw us one way or the other, or often both at once. So this is beyond duality, okay? Don't chime in here. Just meditate on these words. This is important. This transmission is really key to really like snapping out of the Maya. All right. Let's see if I can do this a little bit better. Okay. Okay. A long-held view has been that, of course, one should always give way to the heavenly or spiritual. The alternative is to succumb to the earthly, the fallen, to evil. The struggle has been portrayed as white versus black, as good versus evil. The enduring legacy of this attitude has been to deem the earthly, the bodily nature of the human being, as soiled, unclean, corrupt, or shameful. Yes, this is Steiner. Did you get that part? The enduring legacy of the human being has been to be soiled, unclean, corrupt, or shameful. This is that energy, that frequency, that thought pattern was from, thousands of years ago up until the latter part of the 18th century. That was the mindset. I would say it started to shift in postmodern time, so basically 1500, but it still was there prevailing that it's all spirit. The body is shameful. It's filled with guilt. It's filled with wants and desires. It wants to have sex. It wants abundance. It wants fame. It wants whatever it wants, all these different things. And the body's filled with impurities. So that was the prevailing consciousness. The prevailing consciousness. With this view, the spiritual aspirant of the past had no choice but to reject the body and reject the earth. Right? In India, incarnating into a physical body has long been considered a curse. The entering into the veil of tears, which constitutes life. The physical body was especially singled out for punishment, to be starved, to be tortured, purged, scourged. St. Francis derided his body as his donkey. He labeled his body as a donkey, but reluctantly acknowledged that he must give it some care if it was to continue caring about him. The medieval Cathars, you guys know who the Cathars were, right? Saw the human body as a pit into which the devil had lured the souls of the weakened angels. Procreation was thus looked upon with horror as an act of unwitting cruelty. Each new birth dragged a heavenly soul into the fallen world of matter, material, physical, bringing another diabolically corrupt angel into the flesh. Okay, so what they're advocating or not advocating, what they're expressing and showing is how polarized it used to be, how hardcore it was when they looked at the physical body, and even the act of procreation was looked down upon. Just think about that. Think about the shame. Okay? Now this is all accurate. This isn't farce. This goes across all creeds, all nationalities, everything. For the most part. Even to study the physical body too closely was suspect. Hence Leonardo da Vinci, hence Leonardo's need for secrecy whenever he dissected human beings, because that's how he learned most of his work. If you knew that about Leonardo da Vinci, he was, basically a pathologist, or, he was like an undertaker. The accumulation of an inordinate amount of the material realm in the form of wealth has also been rather suspect. Okay? Interesting. This will all tie into poverty conscious. This will all tie into pain, frustration, all of these different things. This is where we start to crack real codes. This is where we can start getting out of different forms of our own fears that we've probably carnated, because we're all part of that chain. We're all part of that blood. We feel so separated from nature. We also feel so separated from our ancestors and where we came from. Not only because we've been hidden the truth, but because we've been hating the truth. We were hating what we are. We were hating what we were oppressed. So now we need to just understand the knowledge and the perspective so we can get to certain aspects of the best life of all time. Okay, here we go. This is starting to get really good. You ready? Okay. Such views have persisted on varying levels into modern times, and not just amongst the puritanical, okay? So not just among the puritanical or the late Victorian. Sigmund Freud had difficulty as a scientist in acknowledging, edging an angelic side in his patients. He reframed the conflict as one involving human bodily nature and the probably superstitious religious and moral beliefs they maintain. This wrestling match between the instinctual ID and the moralistic superego was referred by the central ego. Later, psychologists have continued to use his framework of two opposing forces moderated by the central force of an ego, although they all interpret the ego somewhat differently. Most psychologists of that time frame very pragmatically focus on how an individual becomes caught in the struggle between two poles without worrying about the relative merits of either pole. Did you get that? So they're so wrapped up on defending one side of it without understanding any aspects of the other. You follow where we're going with this? What is important is to get the individual unstuck, to empower the central ego to again be able to make a choice. You with me? Are you starting to feel the philosophy of freedom? To act more decisively through becoming conscious of the actual dilemma. This is starting to get crazy here. Italian psychiatrist Robert Assagioli, that's the best name ever, wrote of the pull between the lower and higher unconscious. So he wrote about basically the separation and the magnetism of the lower and higher unconsciousness. Once again, recognizing an earth-heaven dichotomy. He developed a therapy that sought a psychosynthesis of the two opposing forces. This is literally my main mantra. This is what I stand for on everything across the board. Paving the way for the discovery of one's unifying center. Similarly, Carl Jung described the marriage of eros and logos within the soul, with the sometimes alchemical participation of the ego. There it is right there. Okay, so there was a marriage of eros and logos within our impenetrable soul, and that marriage is the enunciation or the matriculation or the awareness of the central ego, the center point, the divinity within the Trinity. Follow? Some of these more spiritually inclined psychologists share with Rudolf Steiner the recognition that it is a synthesis of the two poles and not the choosing of one over the other that frees us for self-development. Did you get that right there? Let me turn this off. This is really, really key right here. Some of these more spiritually inclined psychologists share with Dr. Rudolf Steiner the recognition that it is a synthesis of the two poles and not the choosing of one over the other that frees us for self-development. Humanity has both an earthly and a heavenly mission. Aho! There it is, nirvana, Shambhala awareness, scientific, spiritual science. Somewhere in between, we can balance both worlds. Yes, Krishna is right. This is all an illusion. But I can feel my body and I can smell, I can touch. I know there's chemicals. I don't know if the names are right, but I can feel them. So we are in material. There is matter that takes up space, right? Or is quantum entanglement reversing that and there is no matter? Or are we just getting too heady? Humanity has both an earthly and heavenly mission. Tasks in the outer world, right? Me and you talking, working out, moving around, farming, all that. And tasks in the inner world, necessitating an acceptance and embracing of both of our natures is what takes us all the way in to the deepest parts of our Dharma mission in this world. In examining this predicament of living in two worlds, Rudolf Steiner, by virtue of his capacity for spiritual research, went much further than previous researchers. Absolutely he did. He went so thorough in this examination of the inner and outer world. Steiner was able to not merely speak of opposing psychological forces, but to relate these specifically to the influence of mighty spiritual beings. One of them is Lucifer, and the other one is Ahriman. Okay? The influence of these beings is not to be thought of as limited to the realm of the soul, but rather in the widest context as encompassing human evolution, history, and almost every aspect of our existence. God. Hallelujah. You guys know what Lucifer means when it's translated from Latin, right? It means light bearer. That's what Lucifer means. The bearer of light. One's childhood picture of Lucifer as a slithering manifestation of evil is difficult to reconcile with the beauty of this name. We all thought Lucifer was some crazy demonic entity with horns, red, slithering around in the underworld. That's not true. That's not what Lucifer is. Lucifer is translated as the light bearer. It's got Luciferic tendencies. Lucifer, however, represents a force that's paradoxically can be combined with beauty. And if you will, beauty gone too far. It's the extreme. extreme of the decadence, hence to evil, because it's out of balance. Sorry, the lighting is driving me crazy. Okay. Because it's hitting 3 panes and then turning into a super light and hitting me in my face. All right, so this is a little bit better. Is that better? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay. Now this is a great story. I read about this story probably 14 years ago, 15 years ago. I was, let's see, 21, 22. And with Lucifer a little bit on this. We won't get into Armand. That's a whole lesson plan. In the Greek legend, Icarus and his son Daedalus, right, escaped from the tower of their island prison with wings fashioned of wax. Despite his father's warning, Icarus became enamored of his newfound power and of the beauty of the sun. He flies to the light and the heat, and his wings melt, and he falls to his death. Do you know that story? So what is that story representing? What is that story signifying? Meditate on that. Think about that. The wiser and more restrained Daedalus keeps his flight balanced between heaven and earth, thus succeeding in his escape from bondage. The Greeks were very aware of the temptation of Lucifer. In most of their tales of tragedy, hubris or overweening pride was the source of a hero's downfall. Boom! Boom! My God! What a powerful reminder that no matter how beautiful you are, how smart you think you are, whatever you've done, this and that, but to always operate in full honesty and being completely humble and connected to the spirit of this earth, to be connected to your bones, to be connected to the land, to have balance in everything. That Luciferic tendency, you can see it all over Hollywood. You can see it all over social media. Some people have even said it towards me for whatever. Maybe my beard's too nice, or I love certain things. Fine, whatever. I am aware of this tendency. I don't vilify the tendency because I know it's human nature. It's part of the construct we are. As soon as we start looking at these tendencies as evil, we've lost our way. By ostracizing them, we're not able to go deep in our mission here, but by finding balance in the center point of these two existing forces, one being the almighty out there, one of them being the penetrating material force, otherwise known as Ahriman, we can find balance in this life. We can find harmony in this life. We can take care of our physical bodies. We can take care of our emotions. We can go deep into our inner consciousness. We're not going to be removed by pain and fears and all this other crap. We're going to have so much more tangible power within our grasp by understanding that we are inside of a system that ultimately has guidance chips, and these guidance chips are mechanisms and fundamental aspects of everyday life. Really powerful. The Greeks were aware of temptation of Lucifer, and most of the tales of tragedy, hubris, or overweening pride was the source of heroes' downfall. I mean, we see that all day long. Rudolf Steiner's sculpture, he did a sculpture of Lucifer, a beautiful, beautiful sculpture. Ahriman, he was the evil god. So interesting enough, where my bloodline's from, that was the evil. That was basically, there was Ahura Mazda, which is basically the bearer of light, which was like a Luciferic god, and then the evil entity was Ahriman. This is an ancient Persian belief system. This was a deity in Persian belief system. I just happen to be Persian. I mean, what are the chances of that? And Ahriman was basically the evil god. I remember speaking to my dad about this, and he's like, yeah, Ahriman, he's like, he's a devil. You know, that's what my dad would say. And he is the Lord of lies who tempted men and women in history with the clairvoyance, which has been common and that had become rare. The ethical teachings of Zarathustra, which is Zoroastrianism, which is my bloodline, sought to remind the people of their divine origin and to teach through revelation he had received through the Lord of the Sun, Ahura Mazda. The influence of Ahriman or Ahriman has grown through the centuries, quietly gaining respectability in the age of the Renaissance and flourishing in our own century as the predominant world view. So let's just make that clear right now. The predominant worldview right now in this world, in the Western world, across the board, is Ahrimanic tendencies. Ahriman is here right now, and he's controlling, basically that energy is controlling everything. Only in the last years has there been any serious questioning of the notion that the only reality is the physical one. For the most part, the realm of the soul and spirit has been completely dismissed. That's correct. In the last couple hundred years, the prevailing scientific view has been the only one that can be weighed, measured, or quantified should merit any serious attention. So if you can't weigh it, if you can't smell it, if you can't see it, it's not real. That's Ahrimanic. Do you get it? That's materialism. That's science. That's all the stuff they want to do in the mass media. All of that is Ahrimanic by nature. Ahriman has welcomed statistics as his handmaid. Unbelievable. This is so good. I've read this so many times, but it feels good to speak it out. Usually I do it in gatherings here at the sanctuary or with my friends or with my crew and tribe. But this is it right here. Gives you kind of a viewpoint of what we're dealing with, why the material world has become the God state. We're so blinded and so trapped by the material world. It's unbelievable. The influence of Ahriman is seen in the generous gifts that he has bestowed onto humankind in the past centuries, and for which we must feel very grateful. All of the technological marvels which science has made possible have given many of us relative freedom from all manner of drudgery while maintaining a high standard of living, freeing us to pursue other interests, giving us more time, or do we actually have more time? That's the question. The great difference. So the whole thing where time's an illusion and our time's ticking by and we get so caught up in bullshit, that's an Ahrimanic tendency. Ahriman is blinding our ability to see the beauty in the now, in this moment, right this second, because everything has become so structured. Okay, let me turn this on real quick. Did you guys get all that? Did you feel into that? Whoa. Was that powerful or what? You see? Are you starting to see that? Are you starting to see the clarity of that? And seeing how these two opposing forces are basically, they're here. We're in this construct no matter what. The moment we start trying to just deny something is the moment it's going to grab us and take us by the heart and remove us from our path. Yes. Yeah, Lance. There it is right there. So I'm right now, what I want to do is I want to take all this philosophy. Okay, dude, come on. Sorry. I want to take all this philosophy and really, this title, okay. So this right here is The Influences of Lucifer and Ahriman. That's the title of this. And I've posted this book 100 times. It gets pretty crazy. I mean, it really gets technical, probably in the mid part of the book, but it's so it's so eye-opening and so engaging in terms of the heart, where you can start feeling the awareness and start thinking about your own perspective in life. And you can start seeing how people are operating in a confused manner. They're not seeing things from both perspectives. They're immediately jumping down their own cognitive dissonance because it's been layered and built on such ridiculous untruths and fears and pain. We all have friends that will never have a conversation to you about meditation, spirituality, any type of ritual, any type of belief system, any type of religion. They're so stuck in the material world matrix. They're so navigated by science that they don't even understand. That's Ahrimanic tendencies, where you've turned into a complete troll. And you can see it now with what's going on with this whole COVID-19 nonsense. People are so stuck, they've given their energy to an outside force to save us, right? To line us up for whatever nonsense they want to inject us with. That's an Ahrimanic tendency. That's an Ahrimanic impulse. And that's an Ahrimanic spell. And then on the other side, we have people in the spiritual community that are throwing their religion at us, throwing their crazy spirituality at us, throwing it so hardcore. That's Luciferic, because they're so in their ego. They're so in judgment. They're so it's like that. So we're basically working with two energies that are opposing, and this side will not look at this side. This side will not look at this side. And let me tell you, the Luciferic tendency doesn't want to acknowledge Ahriman, and the Ahrimanic tendency does not want to acknowledge the Luciferic energy. You follow what I'm saying right now? That is where you get out of balance. That's where you get ungrounded. That's where you get entrenched. It's crazy. And that has been my doctrine for the last 12, 13 years. This knowledge, this information has helped me navigate, bob and weave like you can't even believe. I've been able to cross through so many barriers in my mind and make decisions based on this type of gnosis and this type of lens. I've been able to see through so much nonsense. It's unbelievable. So if you're getting this information, you are fucking stoked. All right? And I'm going to keep going on this because I think this is amazing, because let me just tell you this right now. Rudolf Steiner, 100 years ago, said around this time will be the age of Ahriman to the fullest. So we are now saturated in the Ahrimanic impulse. And if we don't do anything about it over the next 20 years, we're going to be heading into what he called the 8th sphere. Okay? And that's where you see all these things like AI, all these things that Elon Musk is doing, all that fucking fake X, all that stuff, all the stuff that the governmental agencies are doing. Dude, it's all crazy nonsense. Okay? And all of that is a distraction to take us out of our pure power, our pure love, our pure consciousness, our vibratory field, our abilities to transcend the material, our abilities to be strong individuals. We're in crazy times right now. So just so you know, there's a reason why there's so many spiritual people that are so full-blown Luciferic. They didn't even have a choice, because the Ahriman spell is so strong right now. It's so strong. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of that. I hope you learned something. I hope you can share that with somebody, because that was coming directly from the truth. And that truth is just my perspective. It doesn't have to be your perspective. All right? I love you guys so much. It's an honor, family. Oh, we got Cymbiotika in the house? All right. Hey, we're in this together. You're the master. I'm the student. I'm the master. You're the student. We're all in, baby. We're all in. Yes, this video will be saved, but please share that. Why the Christmas tree? Oh my God. You know what? Let me just say it like this. Because I fucking wanted a Christmas tree in my house. Because I love Christmas trees. That's why. And if I can keep something alive, I'm going to keep it alive. You follow? It's fucking Christmas tree. All you can ask, this whole thing, I just ripped your whole entire world up and gave you a perspective lens of how this world is operating. And you want to ask me about the fucking Christmas tree? My God. Hey, so much love. Such an honor, family. We're in this shit together. I'm telling you, the clarity and the visions are coming out so full force right now. This is the best news of all time. We're right there. We are right there, grabbing it. Boom. And the other day I was like, oh, I'm really feeling my heart. I put my hand, I guess, right here, and people are telling me, wait, why are you putting your hand on your right side? And I'm like, hey, just so you know, the cameras are reversed. This is my left side. My heart is tucked in right there, okay? I know anatomy very well, actually. Love you guys so much. It's an honor. We got this forever. Family, please share this. This was a really, really good starting point to the Luciferic and Ahrimanic influence that are governing and controlling our entire conceptual reality and our choices, all of it. Love you guys so much. Big hugs.